observed Trump's remarks concerning the prospects of XRP and the broader cryptocurrency markets in 2025, there is a substantial amount of fresh information concerning tariffs, cryptocurrencies, and virtually all purchases made with your money, including food, that warrants your attention. In today's film, we will examine this topic comprehensively. Contingent upon your viewpoint, given the substantial shifts in public opinions of trade in recent weeks or months, I will commence by addressing the overall condition of the financial markets. This represents the present circumstances. The present circumstances render both bullish and bearish participants exceedingly apprehensive. The excessive focus on tariff news headlines has induced market volatility, revealing both aspects of sudden, often inequitable pricing fluctuations. This has often transpired with XRP. Approximately 1 week prior, the value of each coin was $2.50. Since that time, its value has risen once more, and it is presently valued at $161.00 per coin. We briefly traded at $220.00 yesterday. Like erratic movement in multiple directions, it is comprehensible that individuals feel uncertain about what to expect. Even ostensibly false new rumors are inducing fluctuations in market value amounting to trillions of dollars. Upon observing the fraudulent CNN news report asserting that tariffs were being suspended, they originally refuted it as misinformation, but thereafter acknowledged its veracity due to the tariff suspension was occurring. The present condition of the markets is highly unusual. This perspective indicates that prices will likely experience increased volatility in the future, and I assert that this phenomenon is far from over. What is the reason for this occurrence, and why does the White House now assert that China will encounter tariffs of up to 245% of products imported into the United States? This represents an escalation from 145%. It is important for many to recognize that Apple and other luxury firms maintain excessively high profit margins on their predominantly Chinese manufactured items. They often pay a fraction of what they would sell them for in the United States. Indeed, you have observed that the iPhone you are acquiring is priced at $1,400. They are taking advantage of consumers. It likely costs them approximately $140.00 to manufacture and transport to the U.S. This is the agreement. While 245% tariffs may appear substantial, it is important to remember the revenue these enterprises generate from each product, as they sell nearly tenfold the amount they invest in it. It appears to be an acceptable figure. You has the capability to note that these enterprises can accommodate these further costs. They may charge clients these prices at their discretion, although customers in the United States, Canada, and any other nation that endorses these levies may choose whether to support these enterprises. They possess the financial capacity to lower their pricing, yet they opt not to do so. To maximize your monetary earnings, they cannot assert otherwise, yet this is definitely the situation. They can nevertheless generate substantial income, notwithstanding the payment of these taxes. Numerous Chinese enterprises are evaluating their production costs. Thus, I recommend investigating the extent to which these huge organizations in America and various other nations have been affected, deceiving you. The Japanese government pension fund asserts it has altered its international stock investing strategy by removing Chinese stocks listed in Japan. It is noteworthy that other nations, including Japan, several European countries, and even Vietnam, are aligning with the United States, distancing themselves from China, and doing measures that will be advantageous. United States of America, I am keen to observe the future developments of this situation. It is reassuring to recognize that the United States has allies globally who will honor their pledges. Consequently, Japan agrees to negotiate a new, more equal trade agreement with the United States. It is unequivocally unjust at this time. Japan sells far more goods to the United States than the United States exports to Japan. Certainly, we must close that gap. Our objective is for the U.S. economy to see growth again. A trade deficit is harmful to the nation. China's response to this trade war has been intriguing and warrants examination. If the United States seeks to engage in trade discussions, it must cease its threats and coercive tactic negotiation. They assert that the U.S. is adopting a notably assertive stance, and I comprehend the rationale behind its substantial restraint, given that the U.S. possesses one of the most significant trade advantages in history, approximately 70%. It is logical that the U.S. is implementing these substantial levies. China aims to prioritize its own interests, a pursuit common to all nations. When they secure a profitable business agreement, it is invariably their responsibility. However, they are becoming increasingly aggressive now that we are aware of the U.S.'s retaliation. They assert that the U.S. is employing intimidation and coercion against them, and they intend to illustrate to the world that the U.S. is culpable in this context. Nonetheless, I do not perceive the United States as the antagonist. Finally, the United States is championing its own interests. After decades of exploitation, it is evident that this cannot persist indefinitely. This alteration is imperative. As the United States is poised to disintegrate internally and will likely be far from its current status as a worldwide leader in 40 to 50 years. No nation can endure indefinitely. This may provide a challenge for numerous enterprises due to their exploiting individuals in North America by pricing these things at tenfold or greater than their production costs. It is commendable that Trump is addressing the efficacy of these elevated figures and tariffs. He asserts that a significant influx of new immigrants is arriving in the U.S. and that fuel prices, taxes, reducing the prices of food and practically all other commodities. It is astonishing that I fulfilled my commitments and that inflation is concurrently decreasing. It is unlikely that anyone anticipated a reduction in inflation, despite the implementation of numerous levies, though many may not have fully contemplated this outcome. Businesses have exploited you consistently. They possess the financial capacity to diminish their profit margins. It is unnecessary to generate tenfold the production cost of a product, which is logical. Conversely, you might potentially generate 3 to 4 times the revenue while sustaining your firm. Owing to their insatiable avarice, individuals at the apex of the hierarchy must diminish their remuneration. Impressive. Your earnings will now be $5 million, 0 cents, instead of $20 million, 0 cents.